Okay guys, it's finally time for the moment we've all been waiting for. The final part to Zack and Cody Season 3. Next to iCarly, this is one of the longest seasons of all time. I think their third season, 39 episodes, and this entire second season is 29 episodes, which is crazy. I thought Zack and Cody went on so much longer than it did, but really it was just 3 seasons. Isn't that insane? It definitely lasted longer on the air, probably because of how many episodes there are. We went over the middle chunk last time and kind of got into all the middle road quality episodes. Like there would be some episodes that were really good and then some that were really boring, like the Tea Party episode or the Con Artist. I really liked it in the latter half. I felt like it was getting a lot better, but it was touch and go for a while. It felt like they were trying so hard to stick to the script. It stopped it from being as funny as it could have been. As we go to the last 13 episodes, I want to say that Zack and Cody has somehow made storytelling history. Whether it's talking about eating disorders, going to Hollywood, and even Cody becoming a mother? Yeah. This is gonna be a fun one. So what's up everybody, it's Johnny 2000, and today we're finally finishing the sweet life of Zack and Cody Season 2. So let's jump into it. We start with Season 2, Episode 27, Wilderness. I always love it when multiple kid shows do this boy and girl scout trope, like Camp Lazlo has the Squirrel Scouts, Ed, Edd n Eddy has the Rangers. It was literally on Billy and Mandy that they were trying to get badges too. I can't believe that this is such a common trope in 2000s media. As of now, I don't think I know anybody that's involved in an organized group like that. Except this time, Zack and Cody are.
We're not cute. We're Grizzly Scouts.
We can survive anything.
Oh, God! Mr. Mosby is leading this troop for some reason, and it fits him way too well. Like, I don't know why this guy is just meant to be in a position of power, because all he can do is yell and critique people. It's a camping episode, where we find these quote-unquote modern kids take on the wilderness, which is really funny, like, right off the bat. Like, not only do they get poison ivy, but so many bad things happen to them throughout this episode. They end up getting their entire camp attacked by a bear, and start to panic because they're worried they're gonna be stuck there.
When the going gets tough, the tough go fishing.
I hate fish.
You would be surprised at how wonderful they taste when you're starving.
And of course, this time around, Zack is a lot better at the wilderness than Cody is. Kind of like the Books and Birdhouses episode where Cody wasn't doing well and Zack felt bad for him, so he gave him his project. But before we hop into that, the meantime is about Maddie seeing this new guy that she just met in the Tipton lobby. Turns out he was dating London Tipton at one point, which I didn't get any insight on her having boyfriends before. Would have been interesting to hear about. But this acts more of like a comedy bit. It's about Carrie trying to get this massage, enjoy her self-care day, while London and Maddie get into a full-on argument because of this boy. All that happens kind of off-screen.
They're away for the whole week and I miss them terribly. Oh, now they're back!
First, Maddie comes in complaining about London, and then London comes in complaining about Maddie, and they just talk over Carrie and kind of solve the issue all on their own. With Cody feeling super insecure for not being able to do the amount Zack is, he says he's gonna go look for food, but ends up finding an old man in an hermit-like cabin. Cody takes advantage of his resources and returns to the camp a hero.
You just have to know how to find it.
Wow, can you show us where?
I picked it all.
But before anybody could praise him for it, the old man shows up. It's really awkward. So the good news is they're all saved, but the awkward news is Cody lied. The boys end up coming together and he makes up for it. But Carrie's story doesn't end super well because she ends up not getting the money back for her massage. And London and Maddie somehow make her the center of the issue. They're like, you're telling her this and you're telling her this, and come together in rebellion to Carrie, which is kind of wacky. But the whole episode ends on a funny note when the old man is being painted by Carrie, so I guess they win? Question mark? I don't know. Interesting episode overall. I'm not sure if you guys went camping in the 2000s, because here in New Jersey, we had the Pine Barrens, and it was a lot of fun to, like, get away from the city for a while. I feel like over time, that's changed so much with the addition of even more technology. Glamping is now a thing, and they weren't even talking about it back then. Like, I feel like maybe London would have an episode where she's glamping. I don't know. I think that would be funny. But Mosby, this is, like, his best episode. I don't like the episode too much overall, but he is hilarious in this.
Don't worry, I have medicine for that. And one more thing, it is critical that you don't...
What?
touch anyone.
In the next episode, things get a little bit weird. It's called Birdman of Boston, Season 2, Episode 28. This one is kind of akin to the Boston Tea Party episode, in which something's going on that is kind of important to the scene, and all the characters have different opinions about how they should go about it. Without being too vague, there's a really cool hawk that circles the Tipton.
You know, I've never seen an eagle before. And you still haven't. This is a hawk.
Everything goes haywire, though, when the bird actually attacks the Tipton restaurant. CGI here is kind of weird, but I guess everybody else is falling for it, so I will too.
Single file! Single file! Okay, all in one, solid.
Mosby ends up getting really annoyed, and suddenly this hawk is his enemy. The hawk ends up having an egg, which Cody gets really protective of. So suddenly it's Cody and Zack versus Mr. Mosby. Zack ends up finding a way to profit off of all of this, taking a camcorder around, and Mosby recruits Arwen as his right-hand man to help him stop this bird. Cody ends up caring for the hawk's egg, insistent on being its mother. He becomes really parental and protective, and it's really funny to see Cody this way. Zack gets a little annoyed because it ends up making him more of a ladies' man than he was before.
Anything but eggs, okay? It just wouldn't seem right because of the baby.
And Mosby ends up convincing Cody that they should just give it over to the zoo, which Carrie ends up pointing out might not actually make the hawk happy, which is a good point. Like, we knew how zoos were even back then, that they are just traps for animals, and we kind of feel bad for them because they're not living their natural lives. Like, we're just putting them in cages to gawk at. A topic that I'm surprised Disney even covered back then. Of course, we have to have advocate Maddie come out and defend this bird, defend Cody, and it's actually kind of sweet seeing them all come together against Mosby. Mr. Mosby here, though, is sleazy for trying to convince Cody to do the wrong thing. Like, this is a little out of character for him. I don't think he would be so against this bird's safety that he would tell Cody to do something he doesn't think is good.
Hawks live longer in captivity.
They do?
Oh, yes, by several years.
There's a happy ending, though. Like, the hawk ends up flying free 6 weeks later, which I can't believe we followed this story for that long. It makes me wonder if things were going on in the meantime, like maybe that con artist came during that part. It would explain Harry's aggressive switching of hairstyles, that's for sure. But yeah, they share a beautiful moment where they get to see the hawk riding free, and Mosby ends up finding the beauty in the situation anyway. So it's like everybody kind of grew in this moment.
I have to admit, he is rather magnificent.
And that's why they should be allowed to fly free.
And that's why I'm running out of suits.
Arwen is probably the funniest part of this episode, along with Cody's commitment to the egg, but I wish we saw more of Cody being a parental figure. Like, that would have been so funny. They barely scratched the surface of how good it could have been.
Boy, I am so bogus.
You're not bogus. You're just a worried mother.
All around, one of the last 6, 7 out of 10 episodes. The rest I consider 8 and up because they are quality. For example, Nurse Zack is pretty funny. This episode's about Carrie, actually, which is kind of interesting. We haven't had a plot about her since the Scary Movie episode back in the last retrospective, but basically the boys are taking advantage of her. They kind of don't appreciate everything she does for them. Next thing you know, she's worn down and sick because Carrie is a caring mother and has to stay in the hotel bed all day pretty much. She has to miss work, and Zack is the only one not sick because Cody got the same thing she did.
Yep. He's sick.
Wow, you're good.
They end up getting a really incompetent doctor to check out Carrie, and he's not that helpful. If anything, he's more comedic relief. And then in the B plot, we have Mr. Mosby about to give out Employee of the Month, and the winner gets to go to any Tipton of their choice. So pretty much everybody grovels at Mr. Mosby's feet. We start to see more of Patrick as the guy associated with like the restaurant part of the Tipton. He's actually really funny, purposely talking aloud to seem like he's a better person than he is.
I enjoy that wonderful feeling you get when you know you're doing your job better than anyone else in the hotel. Sometimes oh, Mr. Mosby!
And Esteban trying to carry the luggage at max speed. And here I'm vouching for Maddie because she's just had so many sad stories thus far. She deserves a win. As you can imagine, the staff at the Tipton are, I don't know how to say this politely, incompetent, so they end up causing way more of a mess than it was worth. I love how the one time we don't see Zack and Cody in the lobby, everybody else is causing Mr. Mosby problems. It's like they're not even the big issue. So now Zack has to step up for Carrie and Cody if they're both gonna be stuck in the bed sick. He ends up getting groceries and has a little bit of spoiled energy trying to get their mom to actually care for him while they're sick.
Mom, door. Oh, I'm sorry. That was insensitive of me. Cody door!
And it's cute because Zack ends up pulling his weight in the long run. Like, he cooks for Carrie, he helps Cody with his dehumidifier. It's actually him stepping up to the plate, which we haven't really seen Zack have to do. And he's really funny when he starts getting like resentful like Carrie and starts having an attitude. It also makes me realize how close in relation the characters are, which kind of adds a layer of realism to it. It ends with one of those Full House moments where Zack essentially says he understands everything Carrie's been through, and they kind of have a moment, which is really sweet.
When you're doing all this stuff, and I'm doing nothing, I'm gonna really appreciate it.
That's a start.
And the Mosby plotline is wrapped up by him giving Employee of the Month to Carrie for, I guess, not getting in the way.
You are Employee of the Month.
Could my prize be this box of tissues?
Yes.
Oh, and Lance was purple from the pool. We have to point that out because it's actually really funny. And it ends with everybody getting into the elevator and it dropping, which is my worst nightmare. You guys ever have a dream where an elevator drops? Yeah, me too. Overall, this was a really funny episode with a little bit of heart to it at the same time. I don't know how they managed to get that balance here. It was a simple plot, but they got a lot of really good jokes out of it. And we even saw a side of Cody that was spoiled, which I kind of dig. It's given me that stay home from school vibe where it's like you don't have to go to school because you're sick, and then the whole house is yours, but it's kind of empty.
200 single-ply tissues.
I wanted 2-ply.
We'll glue them together.
Ow!
But Nurse Zack, great episode. The next episode after that is called Club Twins, Season 2, Episode 30. And this one is kind of a dream of mine. Like, it's when you're a kid and you're like, I wish I could run a business, but I'm 12. With Zack and Cody not being able to afford to do anything they really want to do, they learn from Maddie that the hotel lobby is pretty empty on Monday nights, so maybe turn it into a dance party. Cody and Zack pitch it to Mr. Mosby as if like they're in a business meeting. And how in the world did they get these drawings? Like, they are overly impressive. There's no way they like found a way to get this together so quickly. And me, you, and everybody is surprised to hear that he actually approves of something like this.
Cody will be in charge of the money.
Then what am I in charge of?
Blowing up the balloon.
The boys use the ballroom at the Tipton, and suddenly everything is a lot more impressive than it was before. Mosby shows up the next morning to confront them about the bills they racked up, but since they made so much money, this win gets Zack in way over his head, and he suddenly wants to expand. I'm not talking franchising, I'm talking about like the party itself. We get a lot of good moments with some of the side characters, like Barbara goes crazy, we see Allison Stoner again, which is cool, and Bob gets to be the bartender. Oh my gosh, classic Bob.
Yeah, I've never had soda before. I'm not allowed to have sugar, caffeine, or bubbles.
I drink it all the time, and I'm okay. Better than okay. Great. So great, I haven't slept in 3 days.
The B-plot is kind of insane. London is basically giving Maddie a bunch of free stuff, and it's kind of like, why is she being so nice? And we find out pretty quickly that all of these products are making Maddie have allergic reactions. So London is basically poisoning her, or using her like a rat to test products, which, London, come on, this is too far.
Did you test this stuff? Yes. On you. I should take a picture of this for the boys in Daddy's lab. No, they'll probably want to know about it. No, please don't. No. Ow! I can't see! You're lucky. You're not looking so good.
But going back to the main plot, it's really funny. The entire club adapts to be this huge party project. They even have cages for old women to dance in. Oh, and they have old people as a band. But their style in this episode is impeccable. Look at this. I don't know if two twins at this age would be so into this psychedelic theme. Like, the retroness is cool, but like, did they really come up with that? I don't know. The party becomes short-lived, and next thing you know, they're cleaning up all the trash off the ground. With Mr. Mosby giving them another bill, they realize it's time to call in the towel. Or I guess throw it off. I don't know how those terms work.
We're left with $400. Well, hey, that's not bad.
Oh, no, that should cover about half the damages. The rest you can work off scrubbing pots and pans for minimum wage. Peace.
This was just such a killer fantasy episode for me. As somebody who likes to lead in a bunch of different things, like imaginative projects, I would have loved to create my own club, and to imagine all my friends there, like, that is the ultimate power move. Zack and Cody's dynamic when they're actually like working together is always funny, and it's something I wish the Sweet Life on Deck did a little bit better, because this is like an episode that would be on that show.
Go ahead, tell me off. Zack, I have to admit, running a hot nightclub was a great experience, thanks.
You know, I don't think you're really grasping the whole tell me off concept.
None of the innuendos are that subtle though, like Barbara going off her rockers because she had soda. You can tell this is supposed to be a prerequisite to them in college. The cages are going a little bit too far though. I feel like you'd only find a setup like that at like a bar or a strip club, and it's like, why are we putting this in Disney Channel? The old lady group though does remind me of Mamma Mia. I'm not sure if you guys like that musical, but that is one of my favorites. Then we get another on location episode, Risk It All. So this one almost takes place entirely at a game show. Zack and Cody watch this show called Risk It All, and they're basically like, if we were ever on that show, we would never risk it all. You guess where I'm going with this? So the mom takes them to the live recording, and they get to dress up in costumes because I guess that's just what they do for this game show. And the boys dress up like Elvis, which is so funny.
Real yeah, or stop talking to me, I'll do whatever I want, yeah. Yeah.
If you guys are gonna work together as a team, you gotta listen to each other.
Yeah.
The host calls them up, and they're competing in a bunch of challenges. And I can remember this episode so much more than I remembered most of the episodes. I don't know why, I just thought the gimmick was really cool. This host, though, is really starting to bother me. Like, his over-the-top acting is really ridiculous.
Yeah.
The first challenge is Zack having to get past a sumo wrestler, which how in the world did they come up with that idea? That's not even fun to watch on TV. He gets so wrapped up in this that he answers the intellectual question, taking away Cody's chance to respond. And you know what that means? That means Cody has to be the one to take on the physical challenge next, which they discussed would not happen. Because I don't know if you've met Cody, but he's not an athlete. Not really. And they're doing so well for most of this episode, like winning so much. It almost feels like you're watching a game show, where you feel like you're a part of it because you really want them to win.
Tom Sawyer was written by Mark Twain.
Ooh, did you know his real name is Samuel Clemens?
What was his real name? Oh. Would you let me do my job?
In the B-plot, we get taken on a little journey between Maddie and Esteban, a really funny duo. Very different than Maddie and London. Like, I feel like the stories are a lot more Tipton-based, as opposed to, they haven't really been in the Catholic school in a while, which kind of is sad. Like, I thought that was really funny. They still had a lot of jokes they could have kept making, but whatever, I guess we have to move on from that. Maddie and Esteban are tired of being mistreated at work. Like, they get fed up with Mosby one too many times. So Maddie ends up writing out her feelings as a fake email to Mr. Mosby, but of course, classic London comes in and sends it anyway.
I had to check my website and the letter was in the way. So I pressed the little sending button. Mr. Mosby wasn't supposed to see the letter!
So the episode is them breaking into Mr. Mosby's office, which, by the way, look at all these funny pictures in the background. Mr. Mosby has lived quite a few lives. If anything, I want to see the Mosby Eras tour. Not much more happens there. Mosby finds it, shames them. Maddie apologizes, says it wasn't for him, and it kind of ends there with a little bit of emotional probation from Mosby over here. We cut back to Risk It All, and Cody actually wins despite having astigmatism, which is so funny they just added that to the lore halfway through the next season. Cody ends up being the one a little too power hungry, and right when Zack wants to call the quits and not risk it all, Cody insists they will. Too bad for him, Zack is the one who has to go through with it.
All you gotta do to win the trip to Hawaii is spell the word dog. You've got to spell dog top down using these giant letters.
It's this little obstacle course where he has to spell the word dog while avoiding getting hit by women with nets. He gets his comeuppance because he's not able to win, making it all worthless, and me as an audience member feel really sad for them. It's just a lot of fun. I know Victorious did a game show type episode, and it being the way it was, I feel like this is such a stronger piece for that. If I wasn't so annoyed at the game show host for 90% of this episode, I feel like I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. But overall, like, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is going uphill with its plot lines. Like, this is so fun. I really feel like the writers are just able to just go off and use the characters any way they want at this point. And the writers go off really crazy in the next episode, Season 2, Episode 32, Nugget of History. I watched this on Kevin Carlisle's channel. I'm not sure if you guys heard of that. He's a YouTuber that also covers some Disney stuff. And he actually did research to find out that everything that happens in this episode episode and is discussed is true, but let's get into it. So this is a Zack episode. It's kind of about a history report he has to make, and you know Zack, he's a slacker. It's not happening. Meanwhile, Mosby's grandmother is visiting, and this is hilarious because he is the one actually playing his own grandmother. And this is written really smart because not only is Mosby not at all like his grandma, but his grandma Rose is really sweet.
Get your looks from me, you know that, don't you, little peanut? Come on, get it!
And she even cares about kids and is like, don't forget, kids are awesome. And he's like, yeah, okay. Because you're always the opposite of your parents, I swear. Rose Mosby tells Zack and Cody a story about something that happened in the 40s, which is crazy because she must be really old at that point. Apparently, the textbooks don't mention this, but she was a part of the first black crew.
The SS Booker T. Washington.
You keep an anchor in your purse?
It's my keychain. In 1942, Captain Hugh Mulzac finally took command of the military's first integrated crew.
Zack is finally interested in history and can't stop asking questions about her experience, which I would too. Like, I feel like the best type of learning is through stories and talking to people. So he actually feels passionately about putting together a history report. In the meantime, London actually gets a job where Maddie works. I don't know how she's working at this place called the Cluck Bucket with the Tipton at the same time. Like, this girl is a workaholic. Of course, we love their buddy comedy energy. London is doing such a bad job. She even insults people through the drive-thru.
Will there be anything else? Suggest whatever's getting cold. Oh.
Both girls are pretty much immersed in this really tough day job, and it kind of puts us into this capitalism experience. This is one of the few times I feel like we see London actually struggle and things not work out for her. Her and Maddie end up in this chicken costume, but I feel like this is kind of a cheat. The way they get out of this situation is London's dad buys the restaurant, and then the two get to run it. But, like, why would we never see this establishment again if you did that? I don't know. I think it was unnecessary.
$6,000 an hour doesn't seem like much, but after a while, it starts to add up.
So Zack is really excited about his history report, shows his teacher, and the teacher is like, that's not in the textbook, therefore it's not right. Kind of talking about how a lot of textbooks we had growing up in the 2000s would specifically leave out certain parts of history that it was ashamed of, including downplaying the way we treated people of color, and straight up leaving out all the stuff we did as a flawed country. Now that the internet's here, it's nice that we actually get, like, the full, honest truth, at least somewhere online. We're not limited to what the school systems are forcing us to read. Luckily, Rose Mosby comes into Zack's class and actually helps advocate for him, which is really sweet of her. She doesn't have to do that. One, she's not even related to the boys. Two, why is she hanging out with a guest at the hotel's kids? I don't know. I guess that's just random to me. But they end up getting the teacher's attention. Rose is able to even prove that she was dating Jackie Robinson, which is such a funny Easter egg, and gets the teacher to give Zack an A, which we're actually feeling really proud about because when you get to tell a teacher they're wrong, it's always like a celebrational day. Like, how often did that happen when we were growing up?
Don't sass your teacher. Don't laugh at his pain.
And I like that he's not staying stubborn on this, like he actually gives Zack the grade, so he's not a bad guy, it just became a problem. Mr. Mosby doing both parts is really interesting. I just wish he as a character was in it a little bit more. It felt like he passed off the baton to Rose and then kind of disappeared. Like, Mr. Mosby could have been the one to defend the history project, or he and Rose could have had a single plot line to themselves. It feels like a missed opportunity to me, but it was still funny nonetheless, and the fact that they gave us a little glimpse into the school system and how rigged it might be, it was an extra bit of depth. This is definitely one of the most culturally revolutionary episodes, just in the fact that Disney was able to touch on subjects that were real. You know, like the Raven smoking episode, or even the next couple episodes that are about to come up. This season is just managing to surprise us by the way it's going off the rails, which is really cool. I feel like not a lot of shows get to explore this much stuff, but Zack and Cody are doing it, and not only doing it, but in an entertaining way.
I'm Batty. I'm Batty. You won't know what's Batty. This bat is Batty.
Okay, so the next episode is called Miniature Golf, and this one is kind of wacky if you ask me. So Zack is asking out a girl while Carrie is trying to do a workout.
Or
5? Yeah, that's just my brother counting off how many one-arm push-ups I'm doing.
I don't know why all the gags involving Carrie Martin are something about working out or getting fit for something or being old. Like, I feel like she's a little bit more complex than that. Zack tells Cody that he wants to go on a double date, and Cody's like, okay, fine, I'll bring Barbara. Barbara's been seen a couple times before, most notably when they were working on the newspaper, and their relationship is interesting. I feel like Cody as a boyfriend is a lot more nerdy than Cody as a normal person. Like, even with Bailey in Sweet Life on Deck, Cody just has this way about him where he's romantic by talking about flashcards or things he's learning, and it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how girls are into this. But yeah, he agrees, and they all are gonna go miniature golfing. In the B plot, apparently London is a part of a book club. She enters and one of her first lines are,
"Hit me, candy girl."
Which is super disrespectful. Imagine one of your friends came over to your house, snapped their fingers, and said, "Mint me." I don't like that. They're reading the book Pride and Prejudice, which is really funny because London is like, oh, the main character is Pride. But yeah, Maddie has issues with that because I guess she doesn't want London to be smart since she has that.
There's no way I'm gonna be left out of a club, even if it means reading some boring old book. Want to be part of Lend Maddie $1 Million Club? Sorry, I don't get my allowance till next week.
So they get to the miniature golf course, and the lady taking tickets is really wacky. They really like making their adult characters, like, dopey to the point of incompetence. But you gotta admit, she's really funny.
This pencil is broken.
They're all broken. Lousy kids.
So as they do mini golf, Zack ends up being such a poor sport, being disrespectful at almost any turn. Even Cody recognizes this, and I don't remember Zack being such a poor sport in a way that I've never seen him be this rude. Meanwhile, Maddie is still annoyed at what's going on with the book club, which is like, come on girl, do something else with your life. You don't have to be an advocate for everything going on. Because she gets offended when the book club doesn't talk about books. It's like London and her rich friends, and they're just gossiping. And then we get Alexa Nicholas as a guest star. I'm not sure if you guys know who that is, but she was famously on Zoe 101. Didn't have a good experience with it, but you guys could check out her channel if you want to get into that. Maddie challenges the group to actually read the book, and they accept it.
In fact, we're gonna start right now. Who's hungry? Me.
Then we get more of Zack being a jerk, and I didn't think he could take it even further, but the girl ends up being offended too. Let me just say, if I knew Zack Martin in real life, I would not be playing Mario Party with that guy. So Zack vows to beat this girl at the game, with Carrie and Cody trying to give him a little bit of clarity on the fact he's being a jerk, but he's still determined to prove that this girl is not as good as him. You know who gets wrapped into it? Yeah. Marion Mosby. Zack's playing golf in the hallway, and instead of getting super angry, Mr. Mosby is like really into golf, and he's like, I could teach you a few things.
You golf?
Gee, I was kind of expecting more of, I want you out of my hotel this instant, you diminutive demon!
They're like practicing golfing in the lobby, which why would Mr. Mosby agree to? The golf ball goes through all these like creative spots, but it reminds me of like the Pee Wee Herman movie. So next thing you know, they're back at miniature golf, and he's trying to redeem himself. He's pretty much a sore winner now, and even worse.
Oh yeah, hole in one! Who's laughing now, Mr. Hippo?
The three other participants have to walk out, and I'm like, why did they even agree to go with him again? Meanwhile, the book club reads the book, and everybody's like triggered, being like, oh my gosh, how could she fall for such a poor man? Maddie's like, it's love, it's supposed to be love. And their perspective on the book is so wildly different than them that it's like kind of like a plot twist. Alexa Nicholas has really funny lines in this scene too.
That'd be like my brother dating Chelsea.
Oh, just because my family's yacht is smaller than yours, you think you're better than me?
Well, yeah.
All the rich kids pretty much fight each other for who's the most rich, and it's the most London Tipton fight I've ever seen. With everybody throwing food in each other's face, I feel like this is like the 50th time this season that food has been in somebody's face. In the end, Carrie talks to Zack once again about being a sore loser, and he decides to apologize. And she kind of accepts it, which is really wacky. I don't know why this girl accepts the apology so easily. I would never talk to him again, especially how little they know each other. And Cody, of course, doesn't care that much because he's just gonna reset next episode.
I wanted to apologize. Apology not accepted. Yeah, I couldn't care less.
Overall, this one was a lot of fun with Zack and Mosby. I wish we narrowed in on that. Maybe Mosby was a part of teaching Zack how he can't be a sore winner. I guess we had a couple montages that just took that away from us. Oh well. Overall, I had fun with this episode. I mean, it's a very basic stereotype to just have somebody be a sore winner, especially getting to know Zack and Cody so well at this point. Seeing him not be able to grow that quickly is almost kind of sad. But I had fun.
Dang, I'm a good coach. You were fine too.
Okay, so now we got a really wacky episode. Disney Channel has surprised me in the past with how far they like to push some of their comedy, and this one is a little further than I was ever expecting. The episode's called Health and Fitness. We got my boy Chef Paolo back again, which at this point I feel like if you saw the punch cards of the staff at the Tipton, each of them would work for like 1 hour a month because they are rarely around in this show. It starts with everybody at the Tipton getting needles to check their blood pressure. Of course, Mosby is scared of needles, which doesn't ever have an effect with the rest of the episode, so let's move on. And it kind of leads us into the true topic of the episode, which is about sugar. I'm not sure if you guys saw the Hannah Montana episode, No Sugar Sugar, or Uptight Oliver's Alright. Yeah, they had to rename it twice. But in this episode, the character Oliver is found to have hiding the fact that he has diabetes. Miley and Lily kind of go on this endeavor to figure out what's going on with him, and when they find out it's diabetes, they essentially act immediately. They try to keep him away from sugar as if he's allergic to this, like they monitor his eating and they get hyperfixated on the fact that he can't have sugar. But the most important part of the episode isn't about the episode itself, it's more about the reception. See, this Hannah Montana episode got a lot of conversations going, and a lot of parents that are a part of the Diabetes Association of America wrote letters to Disney expressing their discontent with the episode.
Tonight we learned a lot of important things.
Yeah, I learned that 40 kids get diagnosed with type 1 diabetes every day.
Yeah, and I learned you can't get it from eating too many sweets.
And I learned if you take your insulin appropriately, exercise, and eat a balanced diet, you can do anything and be anything you want to be.
And I learned that someday I'm gonna be good looking and I'm gonna inherit a lot of money.
It had them change one of the moments in the episode itself. Originally, the episode ended with them successfully getting Oliver away from sugar, but then they replaced it with a scene of Miley and the main cast talking about diabetes awareness, like as if it's this big plague. I can't believe we were so focused on food consumption and all this stuff when there were so much more important things going on at the time. But yeah, they felt the need to cover this topic again in another episode of another sitcom, Sweet Life. So Zach's eating a little too much sugar, and Cody points it out as if it's this big deal. Which I'm not saying it's not a big deal. I mean, I'm sure you shouldn't be overdoing candy consumption, but I mean, who am I to say? I get up every morning and eat zebra cakes like it's a hash brown. Cody is the first person to bring on a fat joke, and whoa, that came in strong.
This health questionnaire is really interesting. I'd like to show you, but you might eat it.
Carrie kind of cautions Zach that he could end up having diabetes, and I don't know if it should be painted in that dark of a light. Like, it's not the end of the world. It's something that people have and they deal with. The more interesting thing is that Disney actually avoided talking about candy and sugar consumption on most of their shows in general, probably because they didn't want to influence kids to be eating too much sugar. Cody notices that Chef Paolo himself got a blood result test and it came out really bad, kind of giving the main cast an insight on how Zach could end up if he keeps eating all this candy.
How bad can your blood be?
They found the bacon bits.
And Cody's kind of caring, like he tells Chef Paolo he will help him get over this issue. In the B-plot, London tells Maddie that her friend is giving away a bunch of clothes, something in preparation for a fashion show at the end of the episode, and the two show up, the friend is a jerk, and instead of getting clothes, they are left with insecurity.
We can only criticize people that we pay.
Fine. Your butt is huge. And you have chicken legs. That's the best $50 I ever spent.
Hitting a new low for the rich in this scenario. I really hope nobody does that in real life. But the girls get really self-conscious, which is fair, because people care about other people's approval, and you don't want anybody ever commenting on your size. They look into the mirror and they can even see it. It's like body dysmorphia. And even though they're not saying what's right or wrong about it, I do like the implication that, like, that is kind of how people with body dysmorphia see themselves in the mirror. I'm not sure if it's tackled necessarily in the correct way, but I am happy it's something we talked about back then. If anything, something that's lacking in shows today that we should be talking about. But yeah, this whole B-plot mirrors the A-plot in that it's all about monitoring food consumption, which in both instances is not good. Cody's trying to help distract Chef Paolo as he's making food in the kitchen. London comes in and is demanding to have food because she's probably starving at this point. And Cody is so committed to helping everybody that he jumps in between a cake for all of them so they wouldn't eat it. And it's like he's got frosting on his face. Another moment where Sweet Life of Zack and Cody is involving throwing food again.
There's still some chocolate left on his face.
Let's take it off!
Then, as Maddie and London are trying to both overcome their insecurities about their weight, Mosby comes in and tries to give them like an endearing speech, which who in the world wants a speech from their manager about their weight? Gosh, I can't imagine what I would say if my manager called me into his office and told me I looked beautiful the way I was. I mean, I guess it's sweet. I'm looking at it from a very cynical point of view. You guys get what I mean, right?
He's gone.
Cody asks Chef Paolo to spend the night there so he could help him go a whole night without binging. Chef Paolo and Zack kind of meet up in the middle of the night, both craving sugar, and they kind of team up to get away from Cody. They head all the way down to the kitchen at the Tipton and are eating an obscenely disgusting amount of food, like dipping chocolate in gravy. I mean, this is making me not like sugar. Cody and Carrie come down, catching both of them, and they're both pretty disappointed. Carrie is a little bit more lenient because she's like, I shouldn't have expected you to go cold turkey. But Cody is more like, Chef Paolo, you're an adult, you should be able to get through this, which, I mean, I guess he's not wrong.
It's the gravy. She calls it to me like a siren song.
If a 14-year-old came up to me and is like, dude, you gotta fix your eating, I definitely would consider it. I'm not saying it's a good idea to take it seriously, but it sucks. Cody plays tough love on Chef Paolo and is essentially like, I'm gonna give up on you because it's so sad to see you self-harm with food. And that's a really interesting topic. And Cody does a really good job at setting up a boundary with Chef Paolo because a lot of us do things unintentionally in our lives may end up in hurting our own health. Something simple as eating candy when you know it's not good for you is like a small way of kind of betraying yourself. And the way Chef Paolo does it is almost ridiculous. Like, some people have an out of control issue with continuing a habit that hurts them. It kind of reminds me of like smoking. Like back in the 2000s, there was a lot of campaigns against smoking because all these adults used to smoke. And I was one of the kids that wanted it to stop. I remember hiding my mom's cigarettes when I was little and I thought that made sense. But that's like another form of self-harm. And it's hard to watch something like that. But that's why I respect Cody for standing up for it. He's like, I'm not gonna watch this, and it's totally fair. But if this were real life, I think the adult would be like, hey, don't tell me what to do. I don't know. But I feel bad. Like, I understand what it's like to eat yourself sick, especially when you're going through something. You don't realize you're doing something like that. But that's why it's important we focus on our mental health and pay attention to what we're doing, because sometimes we unintentionally will not take care of ourselves and don't even realize we're doing it. This is kind of an interesting topic because it's not necessarily like the show got it right or wrong in this instance. It's almost like better that we're even talking about it at all, and that's always something I like to do. In the next scene, we actually have the fashion show that London was talking about a bit earlier. It's the perfect setup because obviously it's a plot line where it's all about appearance. Like, they have to walk on stage, they have to model these outfits. A very big trigger for somebody going through this counting calories issue.
I'm so hungry, I'm dizzy. And I keep smelling hamburger.
That's me. I'm sweating beef juice.
They end up ruining the entire event, like making an embarrassment out of themselves, and it's just to show that not being yourself, not being authentic, doing things that don't necessarily contribute to the well-being of your health or the relationship you have with yourself will always bite you in the butt. Whether it's food, whether it's something small as the miniature golf episode where Zack was just being a sore loser, to something as big as harming yourself with something you know is a detriment to your health. But they end up finding a really good resolve with this episode specifically. Like, the next day, Paolo actually takes Cody's words to heart, and he surprises him by making him a healthy meal, which is really sweet. And he names it after him. Then Zack tries it, and he too realizes that it's really good food.
This is delicious. What is it?
Mixed vegetables.
No, seriously.
And then it's kind of like a little assumption that everything's going to be better from here on out, and none of them will ever be insecure about body weight ever again. Yep. That's just the fake world that the sitcoms live in. In reality, obviously, this is something that people battle on a daily basis. This is something that can affect you long term, and it just further exemplifies why self-care and self-love are important. The relationship to yourself is the root for how you see life. I am a little annoyed, though, at the end, because it's Maddie and London finding guys, and they tell them that they're enough, and that's the reason they're kind of happy about it, and that's not a good reason. Like, I wish they told each other their approval is the only thing that matters. wheelchairs or their own, or that looking healthy isn't as good as feeling healthy. But yeah, I feel bad for making it that deep, but it is something worth talking about. If you disagree or agree with me, please put it in the comments. That's the whole point of having discussions like this, looking back on the 2000s and kind of identifying what we were really going through at the time, because mental health was not talked about super much back then, but this is definitely a good example of self-harm and how people kind of use it in ways that they don't realize they're doing.
I guess Mosby is right after all.
He always is.
Oh, so yeah, the next episode we have is Back in the Game. And this one is actually really fun. I can't believe how much The Sweet Life is talking about really important stories and then telling them in a really good way, like the one Nugget of History where they're talking about quieting Black voices, and then we had the episode about diabetes, and now we're having an episode about people in wheelchairs. And I really like how they go about it. It starts with a fun cold open of a man named Daryl coming to the Tipton with a bunch of athletes with physical disabilities. He teases Mosby about giving them special treatment just because they're in wheelchairs, and Mosby is really bad at looking like that's not the truth.
Yeah, how come they can play basketball in the lobby and we can't?
You know, it's just that, I didn't want to. I mean, they're
In wheelchairs?
Are they? I hadn't noticed.
I know this guy's famous in real life too for exactly kind of what this show is about, which I love, and I love that they kind of treat him like that, like Zack and Cody acknowledge that he's a famous figure in this world. It's pretty relevant too. We actually get a little bit of backstory that Zack and Cody had a friend named Jamie, and they briefly mention that this friend used to be really good at basketball and their best friend until there was an accident one day, and then suddenly he stopped hanging out with people, going to basketball games, that he kind of quit life. It's a really dark but something that you really care about because you're like, this is a friend of Zack and Cody. They come up with this ruse to try to get him to talk to Daryl and maybe get a little bit of inspiration that he doesn't have to give up basketball just because he's in a wheelchair now. But they trick him into coming over by saying that Jessica Simpson is there, and then Cody does a disgusting impersonation of her.
I need someone to help rub in my suntan lotion.
But yeah, Jamie shows up and he is not into it, and he is super grouchy. And it's Freddie from iCarly. Nathan Kress is in this, and he looks really young. Like, you could tell this is pre-iCarly.
No offense, but you're not nearly as pretty in person.
And that's not just in this instance. He's gonna be a grouch for the rest of the episode. I feel like Nathan Kress could have been a little bit more peppy or optimistic because this character is just so over the world. So it doesn't work on getting Jamie to be a part of the team, but Carrie is able to convince Daryl to have his whole team go against Zack and Cody's school for charity. At first they're like, that wouldn't be fair, until Zack and Cody recommend that they are also in wheelchairs. And the way they challenge each other is actually really funny. I feel like Daryl, or the actor playing Daryl, must have been in the writer's room because all these jokes are so funny, and I don't know how they're able to dodge being offensive so easily because it just seems natural the way they're talking about it.
How did you end up in your wheelchair?
I'm in a wheelchair. Holy cow, why didn't no one tell me?
I mean, the 2000s were a different time. I think things were a lot more offensive just for the sake of being offensive, but they're not doing that here. Like, they're doing a good job with this. So Jamie doesn't agree to be a part of this, and everybody in Zack and Cody's friend group play basketball in wheelchairs, and they are horrible. Like, they can't possibly make it work. It's really hard to be in a wheelchair, and it's good to see them actually learn that up close, being how young they are. Like, you should be learning about people different than you and kind of how they go about their life.
Don't worry, guys, you'll catch up.
You really think so?
No.
They're still trying to get Jamie to be a part of it, and this guy is not having it. He is grouchy every time we see him. He does not like this world. And I feel bad. I feel like we should have got a moment where he's like missing basketball or actually has a positive feeling about wanting to get back in the game, but it just seems like Zack and Cody are not taking no for an answer, and it's kind of looking like they're jerks. But before we move on, we gotta talk about the B-plot. It really doesn't have much to do with this episode. A lot of the time is taken up by the basketball event because it's a lot more interesting, but Maddie apparently is given a video production assignment, which it's like, are you serious? You guys have a religious school and then also a video production department? Like, why do you do that? And she's making this like narrative film and asks London to be in it. London's a little disrespectful at first, but then she kind of gets excited about it. They bring in Lance, they bring in Mr. Mosby, and every character gets a moment of desperation, essentially. Seeing the actors pretend to not know how to act as their characters is always something that's super funny. I just like that trope of people playing different parts when we as the audience know what they're truly like.
I'm sorry, but I run a hotel, not a charity. Now out on the street with you!
And without trying to get too into it, essentially, it's Maddie being the straight man and every other character pushing her buttons up until the very end when it turns out that she re-edited the video to make it look better. And that plot ends pretty quickly. I mean, it's a funny side plot to what's really going on, but it's super unnecessary.
So, as you can see, it's not easy making a student film.
Hello? Hello? Hey, is this thing on?
But yeah, next thing you know, we're at the game, they're playing basketball, and I like that Arwen's still involved, he's still the coach, and he's in a wheelchair too, it's kind of funny. Daryl notices how bad the team is playing, and then he notices that Jamie's there, watching the competition. He kind of has a little one-on-one talk with him, and gets Jamie to realize that maybe he does want to be involved in this. Which, even in this scene, he doesn't look interested. He looks so angry at the fact he would even have to get involved. He jumps in, we have a quick montage where it makes it look like they played a game of basketball when really we all know that they were just running around a court filming. Nathan Kress wins for the whole team, Zack and Cody are happy, and they give him a new life. He even joins Daryl's basketball team. Good for him. It's definitely like a win for the way Zack and Cody said his life went. Like, this poor kid had a horrible accident and lost his lust for life. So to see him come out on top like this by the end of the episode is pretty heartwarming. I'm happy they like ended it like this.
All I want is a car, a house for my parents, and $50,000.
How about instead I teach you how to use sympathy to pick up girls? See that one over there? Been hitting on me all week.
Nathan Kress does a pretty average job at looking like he could be in a wheelchair, but I don't know if people in wheelchairs are that grouchy all the time, Nathan. My favorite joke is when Nathan Kress says, "I just happen to be rolling by," and there's not even a laugh track during that joke. This overall is a really fun episode. I like this new tone of diving into deeper topics without necessarily taking them super seriously. A lot of these writers were involved in the show Full House, but at least Zack and Cody takes things to a much more comedic level and actually doesn't pander to kids. Not that Full House isn't a good show. I'm not gonna get those Full Housers stuck up in my comments, but you guys know what I'm getting at.
Jamie, you got game. And as for the rest of you guys, I hope you're better on your feet.
Okay, so the next episode is a really good one. This is the first two-part episode in The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which is crazy because it's season 2, episode 36, The Sweet Life Goes Hollywood. Originally, this was actually planned to be the season finale of the show, which I would have been excited. I'd like two-part episodes being season finales. But since it's a kid's show, I guess they just didn't take it as seriously, because there's randomly 2 episodes at the end of the season. So we see a bunch of strangers in the Tipton. This really tall man and a short man. That's the best way I can describe them. Zack and Cody think they're really sus, so they try to warn Mr. Mosby.
We heard their whole conversation while our ears were accidentally pressed against their door.
Almost every character finds their way into the lobby because of Zack and Cody, making it a really entertaining experience in the lobby. Which, by the way, 90% of the stuff that Zack and Cody are doing in this scene should be illegal. The two men say that they're writers in Hollywood, and they actually think that Zack and Cody are the most interesting thing in this hotel. They invite them to come to Hollywood with them and kind of consult on the series about all their misadventures, and it's really exciting because Maddie already was getting tired of the snow. London says they're gonna all be able to take her private jet, which is really exciting and definitely makes me wonder how she wasn't able to get out in the sweet life on deck if she could just do that. We finally see the cast outside the hotel, which is really nice. I love it when they do adventures like this, and as long as it's not iCarly, I go to Japan, I think we're gonna be in for a good episode. The montages go on for a long time, and it's really hard for me to take out the fact that they probably record this whole show in LA anyway. And they go to the LA Tipton. Oh my gosh, that's so funny that the Tipton is that popular. They could have so many locations.
I can't wait to see our luxury suite. You're kidding.
Well, I guess if you've been to one Tipton, you've been to them all.
Mr. Mosby is kind of fixated on the fact that it's not as good or well run as the one in Boston. As an adult, I'm really liking that everything in LA is fake because it's so kind of true, and it definitely is the perfect breeding ground for comedy. They go to the writer's office, and it's this dingy little shared common area. And I don't know if I got this when I was younger, but a lot of these are at the Hollywood writer's expense. One by one, the writers talk to the characters about their experiences at the hotel, and Zack and Cody are the most interesting. Surprise. But I really like seeing the characters talk about their own experiences. Like, you never see Mr. Mosby have an excuse to talk about what he likes and doesn't like about the hotel. He's just kind of there responding to things.
What's the funniest thing that ever happened at the hotel?
One time, we ran out of pillow mints.
The cast go to the set, and it looks exactly like the Tipton. Why? Because they probably use the same set. You can see the lighting grid on the top, and I have no doubt that's the same set. London tries to use the elevator immediately, and it doesn't work, which is, I find that hilarious. All the characters have a double, with Zack and Cody's mom being like ridiculously young for her age, and London being played by a guy who surprisingly captures her essence really well. Like, I think this guy's really funny.
But I would never date Maddie. She's not my type. She's poor.
Yeah, and who did her hair? An egg beater?
You are me! Yes!
He definitely reminds me of Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not sure if you guys get that, wink wink. And the boys playing Zack and Cody are these snotty kids that are just spoiled and into the acting game. I imagine kids actually being there and wanting to enjoy the fun and adults viewing them like this. I definitely don't think kids ever act this spoiled, but that might be an exaggeration. Everything quickly turns around when the producers don't like the little kids and want to replace them with Zack and Cody.
Dibs on Zack! Oh, you're always Zack!
And that's where we end our first part. We jump in right where we left off in the second part, but now excited because Zack and Cody are going to be playing themselves. And now it becomes a question if they're going to need to stay in LA at this new Tipton or going to be able to go back to Boston. And I definitely am sad because I want them to stay. We get a glimpse into the fake show and all the other actors are so disorienting. Mr. Mosby and the girls leave the set to go explore Hollywood, and Ashley Tisdale has never looked more like Sharpay Evans in this moment. Not even when she played Sharpay Evans. Her and London go off when they see this actor that's kind of a parody of Johnny Depp. So they crash a set as stunt doubles.
Now, which one of you two specializes in falling off of tall buildings? Great, then you can both do the fall.
And of course they have no idea what they're doing, which I am excited about because I always find those scenarios hilarious. Zack and Cody are on set, and now they're playing themselves, with Cody kind of falling under the pressure. They talk to fake Mosby, and the studio audience really doesn't like them. And I feel bad. These guys are really trying. They want to do this. Meanwhile, Maddie and London get to meet Johnny Depp, and everything's great. Just kidding. They make them fight in the mud, which is really unnecessary, and are replaced when the real actress have to kiss him. So yeah, that B-plot is not so glamorous. It's interesting that they didn't introduce it to the second part. I guess they just ran out of stuff to do. Then Zack and Cody start to argue on set to a point where they get physical. And that's perfect because that is just what they do.
Hey, where you going?
I'm giving my boys a timeout.
There's no timeouts in show business.
Oh, there is if you want a show.
I vote we give her a timeout.
In a really random beat of dialogue, they bring on another set of twins that are musically talented, sing for the audience, and then they replace Zack and Cody with these singers, which I guess everything in television happens for a reason. Is that what they say? This was a really good episode, super well worth it, and I remember loving it at the time. It does remind me a lot of the iCarly episode. It's called iCarly Saves TV, and pretty much the same thing happens. Like, Carly and Sam and Freddie all go to Hollywood, and then they're replaced one by one with different actors, different situations, and it's really funny. So you gotta love plot lines like this. There's something about people being inauthentic as characters that I just find super amusing because it takes a really talented actor to act as somebody acting. You know what I'm saying? And they captured the chaos of the sweet life in a really comedic way. There's something about it that feels like they're inviting us in on the Hollywood inside jokes, and I'm definitely here for it. As somebody who grew up on the East Coast and made the transition out west, I definitely feel like it was an accurate portrayal.
Don't worry, Mr. Mosby. We promise to behave.
Thank you.
You don't mean that, do you? Nah, I just don't want to hear Mosby crying all the way back to Boston.
So episode 38 is called I Want My Mummy. In this one, a famous Indiana Jones parody guy who works at a museum is bringing all of his artifacts to the Tipton. Esteban is really freaked out about this because the mummy, something Kwee-Kwee, carries an ancient curse with her.
My village lies in the shadow of Queen Kwee-Kwee's pyramid.
But it looked like no one had been near there for 1,000 years.
Right. Because, as I may have mentioned before,
It's cursed!
I remember seeing this episode, and the Tipton employee that follows Mosby around in this, he's like from the country. I feel like they just needed another actor to be a part of this that's not Esteban, because he has to follow Maddie around this whole episode. But he's really funny. I wish he was in it more. Mr. Mosby apparently isn't gonna be here, so it's up to this guy to keep Zack and Cody away from the mummified body. But little did he expect that Maddie and Esteban are trying to figure out what's going on.
What exactly does this curse do to you?
Your skin melts off, your eyes explode, and your hair bursts into flames.
Oh, that would so put a damper on prom.
I don't know why this has to be Maddie's entire personality. She's just the one that's like, I am defying everybody in this situation. And I feel kind of bad for her. Like, I feel like things don't always work out in her favor, and that's why she needs to kind of like only be an advocate for everything else. But you know what? She's a really interesting character as it is, and very funny. So it's not like I'm bashing it. I just want to kind of understand where she's coming from as a character. They find out that it's not a real mummy. It is a doll wrapped up in gauze. So Zack and Cody are fighting as they take the mummy with them. They end up knocking it off a cliff. Oh wait, not a cliff, the Tipton. You know what I mean. It's a metaphor. So Cody has to be mummified and make up for it, which does not sound really thought out. Like eventually he will have to breathe.
The worst plan in the history of plans. Okay, then think of another plan, and while you're thinking, hold this.
It's funny for a moment because it seems like he's actually considering living the life of a mummy, which is like, Cody, you can't just do that. Esteban and Maddie have to lie to the new Tipton employee to get into this room, and they're so bad at it, it's hilarious.
Protesters are tunneling under the ballroom as we speak to steal the exhibit!
What do I do? You need to go to the kitchen and get all the pudding you can carry.
London helps bring Zack into the room. Esteban and Maddie end up leaving with Cody the mummy, which, let's recap, there are 3 mummies so far and none of them are real. Everybody runs to the lobby when Cody actually starts moving as a mummy and people are freaking out. I don't think it looks that threatening. Like, it's not even a curse, it's just a kid in a costume. I don't know why everybody's falling for this. So yeah, in the end, it turns out to just be a ploy to get some merchandise, and this fake Indiana Jones impersonator is caught. A true hero of corporate America.
This necklace is probably plastic. Here, Maddie, you can have it.
Actually, the necklace is real emerald.
Thanks for holding it for me, Maddie.
Mr. Mosby comes back and Skippy is really guilty and admits to him that the museum thing didn't work out, so they have the Tipton's greatest treasure. Turns out people are just showing up to wave to London Tipton and walk out the door, which she's not lying. I do find it crazy that Mosby wouldn't find out until right then. Nobody told him this whole museum thing was an entire hoax. We're just gonna move on. Okay. Overall, a really fun episode. I feel like Zack and Cody kind of took the back seat a little bit in this one, but I really do like an ensemble episode. And the ensemble episodes are really what makes Sweet Life stand out, because everybody's funny. Esteban's funny, London's funny, Mosby's funny, and the fact that they're all looping around in this one mummy scenario is just hilarious. Like, I like this. As we close out season 2 of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, I'm glad we got like a lot of really good episodes, even though it feels like it's been going on literally forever.
It dated circa 3000 BC. It's really old.
That leads us to the season finale. I'm gonna cry. Episode 39 is called Aptitude. And this is one of the episodes I surprisingly remembered the most. The boys are taking a online computer test that tells them what they're gonna be when they grow up. And we've seen this in plenty of 2000 shows. It's that whole idea that technology can give you insight onto something more. I think Zoe 101 did this when they were having dates be paired up. They gave them all like personality quizzes and then they paired them up later. That's kind of what the Sweet Life is doing here.
And the winner of Boston's biggest nerd for an unprecedented 5 years in a row is Cody Martin.
I feel like this is a good way to end the second season, especially since we care a lot about how these boys grow up, and this seems to be a vital part of their personality. If I was old enough to expect a season 3, I would be really curious on how this panned out, considering this is the final one. We get another glimpse of Patrick bugging Mr. Mosby because his whole B-plot is trying to get a new podium, which I've never been more bored. London apparently just got back from Morocco, which right before she just got back from Peru. It feels like she's just returning home all the time.
It's so wonderful there. During the day, it's so bright. And at night, it gets dark.
You've been there?
Some of the questions on this test are really ridiculous, but I do find it funny that Zack is trying to cheat off Cody for a moment. Like, of course, this is like the one test that you don't even have to worry about that for. The results say that Cody is going to be a janitor and Zack is going to be a CEO, which I find hilarious. It is such a good premise to have this identity issue with both the boys. Like, Cody is heartbroken, and I would be too, because I was somebody that cared about my future a lot when I was in middle school.
Mine says that I'm gonna become a Keo. What the heck is a Keo? That says CEO. Excellent! What's a CEO?
London decides to bring her Moroccan themes with the Prime Minister at the Tipton, and when they don't get the right dancer, they have Maddie step in. Oh my gosh, this has to be cultural appropriation. This guy ends up choking and Maddie has to save him. This scene's kind of gross, so I'm gonna kind of move on from this. So Zack and Cody pretty much switch identities, with Carrie being super confused.
At that rate, that's an annualized gain of 31.2%.
Zack, did you just do math?
I guess I did!
She tries to appease both of them by saying the tests are inaccurate to Cody, but then accurate to Zack because she wants them to feel good, and it's just, I mean, it's a typical mom thing to do, but it's not helpful. Poor Cody is depressed, saying, what's the point? And hair is up and at him. We have Zack in this whole fantasy of him being a CEO and what it would actually be like, which I don't think it's accurate. There's no way he's gonna make such an unrealistic amount of money for not doing anything. And then we have Cody having the same kind of nightmare, taking from where Zack left off, and he's the janitor that cleans up everything Zack does. Meanwhile, the whole Prime Minister situation gets Maddie on television because she saved somebody's life. Like, that's a big deal.
So tell us, who does your hair?
I do?
So in order to fix this whole identity crisis, Carrie takes the boys to the assessment and testing center where they created the test. And I wish I could have done this when I was in middle school taking these kinds of tests. Who remembers standardized testing when they all like put us in separate rooms and then made sure they were like testing our aptitude and it didn't really go toward our grades or anything? That's a 2000s throwback. It turns out the creator of this whole thing is actually kind of a loser. I don't know how to describe him. They tried to make him look like a loser.
They sell fat-free donuts.
Well, I have a complaint.
Fine, there's a little fat in them.
This insight kind of gives Cody the confidence to not listen to the test, and Zack just feels like it's a ripoff because he could end up like this guy. Maddie's plot ends in a really anticlimactic way, where it turns out something more interesting happened on the news, and not only is she not famous anymore, but a dog has taken her spot.
Maddie, remember how you were in all the newspapers yesterday?
Uh-huh.
Well, that makes you yesterday's news.
So yeah, depressing way to end the season for Maddie, for sure. And just like that, we're finished the entire second season, guys. Oh my gosh. That was way too long. 39 episodes should not be the length of any season of any TV show ever, unless they're 5 minutes long and equaling like 20 episodes. It's hard to argue that there's not real gems in there, like really good episodes, but there were a lot of duds too. There's a lot of like impersonal episodes that I feel like didn't necessarily have to do with the Tipton too much, or was more like boring and none of the characters got to shine. But I gotta admit, this third half of episodes really surprised me. Like, they threw stuff at the wall, covering topics and issues that I never thought a Disney Channel show would have to cover. And since they were so popular at the time, they could get away with pretty much anything they wanted.
What I'm trying to say, I dated a guy in a wheelchair once. Maybe you know him.
Carrie, listen, I was just playing around. I have a girlfriend.
Oh, is she in a wheelchair too?
No, she can walk. Maybe you know her.
It's so sad to think this show's only 3 seasons, but it's good to know that the second season literally is worth like 2-3 seasons. Moral of the story is The Sweet Life Season 2 is a wild roller coaster of content. And I don't know how to sum it up because of everything it's been through, everything I've been through watching it. But I'm so excited to dive into the 3rd season. It's gonna make fall really fun. I think I'm gonna take my time on this one and split it into 2 parts, but actually dive super deep into it. I'm not sure if you guys saw yet, but some of my new retrospectives are out. I did a Sunny with a Chance one recently. I've been diving into Danny Phantom as my new cartoon, and some Cartoon Network content has been coming out. If you really want to get insight onto these networks when the networks were at their prime in the 2000s, make sure to check out some of my other videos. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I am just so grateful to be able to do what I'm doing. And for any more shows you want me to cover, don't forget to comment below and tell me your favorite episode from this show.
Yay, you!
Lyndon, you've never yayed anyone but yourself.
You're right. Yay me!
Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is Johnny 2000 signing off.